Hey, this is Bruce Cook. On this video, I got a whole bunch of really cool, exciting things to share. So I was able to get a lot of things done, and I'm able to try out some things for the first time that should help my grow season out a ton. So I want to start by giving a shout out and a huge thank you to one of my subscribers who's been around for, I know, at least a year to 2 years. That's Philip Emerly. He made all this possible, and I'm sure this is going to help a ton to guarantee that this is going to be by far my best growth season ever. So I thank you, Philip Emerly. So he helped me be able to get a few things. One very important thing was to get the 2-gallon containers I needed to finally get the remainder of my plants transplanted out of their small containers into 2-gallon. So we're gonna come in here real quick just to show what exactly I'm talking about. So these 2-gallon containers are just one of many things I was able to get thanks to his help. And I want to thank everybody that's ever helped me with things in the past. Johnny Small Pepper, Philip. Y'all have been a great help. You have no idea. So as you see now, my last 3 varieties that I had put out here, my Yellow Murga Scorpion, Carolina Reapers, and Dragon's Breath, I now have all the plants taken out of their 1-gallon containers. And so I chose to go with these shorter but wider 2-gallon containers. So you probably noticed the difference between these older ones that I had, the older 2-gallon containers, and these new ones. They're not quite as tall, but they're wider. I just wanted to try that out. So I was able to transplant all of those in there, out of their 1-gallon containers into those new 2 gallons. And as well as the remainder of the rest of my plants that were in 1-gallon containers. I had that one purple ghost. I'm going to check to see if the soil ever got, so I'm going to have to do some watering. But I had a purple ghost. There was some red scotch bonnets over here, and some of the chocolate Murga scorpions. So I was able to get them all out of the 1-gallon containers and put them into these 2 gallons. So, but yeah, thank you very much for that, Philip. Some other things I was able to try out was, and I got this idea recently from Uncle Bull Cow, that was finally going through with getting blood and bone meal. So I think it could have been a mistake that I've made this last few years. Was as the plants were growing, I never thought of putting fertilizers in my soil. They would get fertilized properly when they're in my bedroom, using the Miracle Grow water soluble plant food mix, because it's ideal to have plants, once they're grown enough, to be fed 10 10 and 10 on the NPK. And then I would end up putting them outside and forget that the soil only contains, I know a lot of these store-bought premixed soils, it's like a 1 2 and 2 or somewhere around there. And it's probably why a lot of my plants took a lot longer. Now these plants, I sowed all these seeds back in October. You would think these would be, they're pretty big, for being just the month of May. But you would think they'd be a lot bigger. But that's probably why. But anyways, so I seen one of Uncle Bull Cow's transplant videos recently, and he was suggesting using actually this exact brand, blood and bone meal. So I went to Home Depot. I was able to get that. And for the plants that were already in their final containers, I just sprinkled, it was a 50-50 mix of this stuff in each of the containers. So I had asked Uncle Bull Cow what I should do with the plants that are already transplanted, that I obviously don't have the these nutrients mixed into the soil already. He said just sprinkle them on the top, on the edges. So that's exactly what I did. So I went around and did all of that yesterday. And then obviously with the plants that I transplanted from the 1 to the 2 gallon containers, I was able to mix that into the soil directly. So I was able to do that. And we're going to see what kind of difference that'll make. So I do have some plants that been kind of lagging behind in growth, especially these chocolate myrtle scorpions. I've had problems with these things not growing very fast. Ever since I got seeds for these things back in 2020, and I've just been picking seeds out of the peppers each season as I've been going along and regrowing them. So maybe we'll see a huge difference, because that is a dramatically different thing I am doing. And also, another thing you might notice is I have a fraction of the, mulch on the top of the soil. It's something else that's been worrying me that might have been stunting the growth of these things. So in 2020, I had not even learned that people use mulch on their plant containers. And I've stated in the last few videos, 2020 was actually the healthiest season of plants I've ever had. And I'm trying to replicate some of the things that I did in 2020. You would think that since that was the first season, that would have been the shoddiest season, and it wasn't. Now, I got started really late, but things turned out pretty good, for only having like 4 months. I think I sowed some seeds in mid-June, and then the rest of them in late July. And I still had plants that grew over 4 feet tall, and they looked just perfectly healthy. If you remember, it was when I had that big structure built right there, and it was the first season, and I had the huge ghost pepper plants and huge chocolate bootla plants. And after that, I had learned to use mulch, and I think my problem was it wasn't using mulch, it's just I was a little too heavy on it, and it was not allowing any of the moisture in the soil to evaporate. If your roots constantly stay wet all the time, they're not going to have any incentive to grow, because you want them to reach for, you don't want to starve them of water, but you do want them to grow and reach for water by letting the soil at least get a little dry before you re-water it. So what I did was I removed the majority of the mulch out of there, and I pretty much got all that mulch dumped onto that wood pile over there. So we're gonna see how that works, but that obviously also helped with me pouring that bone-in blood meal in there. So I got that going on. Also, I do have a really cool update for my indoor plants, and I was able to buy some more supplies for my last little round of indoor plants that I've been germinating and stuff. Thanks to the help that I got from Philip recently, I was able to go to the store and get a bunch of things. Also on top of the bone and blood meal, I was able to get more soil to make my transplanting possible. And I got more soil for my indoor plants. I transferred them into little cups, but I'll make a separate video for that, and I'll go over all of that. But I thought before I do some watering, it's been raining, but it hasn't sprinkled or rained since last night, since the last plants got transplanted. So I need to put some water into some of these things. But I thought I'd share this update. But yeah, again, thank you, Philip, for all your help. Hopefully we have a much better grow season this year. And I have a sneaking suspicion that I will, because of some of these things I was able to get. And thanks for the advice if you watch this Uncle Bull Cow. So I'm sure that's going to help a great deal as well, because I have not been putting extra nutrients into my soil after transplanting them outdoors. So I completely forgot about that. Pepper plants like the 10, 10, and 10, and just regular pre-mixed soil from the store does not offer that. You have to add stuff to it. So hopefully this blood and bone meal will help as well. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in the next one.